Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming in tonight to either watch live or if you're watching this later on the rewind. Appreciate you guys. Tonight, I have a special guest on to talk about his Kickstarter comic, Tyrant Fall. He's also written a couple other little quick indie comics that I picked up actually in Baltimore when I went to Baltimore Comic Con, as well as a full little series here, Mental Cases. Lots of cool stories that he's created, and a new one up on Kickstarter right now that we're going to talk about. Here is Brennan Knight.
Hello.
Thank you for joining me tonight.
It's good to be here.
And hello to Michael. Welcome, and thanks for watching live. So Tyrant Fall is your latest creation, but it's not necessarily a new creation for you. So
no.
We'll start with talking about how a lot of your story creation seems to go with these mini stories first, and then we'll talk a little bit about how you got into the comics and all that.
Yeah. So, well, as you know, with Echoes Among the Stars and the Trench Stalker, I did them as 8-page mini stories, little shorts, very self-contained, but more or less written with the potential to be expanded upon. Tyrant Fall, the short that it was originally that I originally made for one of the platform comics competitions, it was very much the same, where it was just a self-contained story, but oddly enough, it wasn't as much of a I'm going to follow this up later as the other two were. It was very much like, this is kind of its own thing. I had a lot of world building I had done, but that was all for the short, like just to give context to myself, just to make sure that everything that was said, mentioned, had more weight behind it, whether the readers picked up on it or not. So yeah, I had gone in and be like, wrote the short and was like, it'd be nice to take this somewhere, but I have no idea what we're gonna do with it. And it was afterwards, as pages were coming in from Max, and then going to Roman, the colorist, and then Rob Jones, the letterer. As that whole process was unwinding and the book was coming together, and the competition ran, and we were finalists. That that whole time, I was sitting there. It's like, well, what am I doing with this? Like, what is it going to be? Like, what would be special? What would make it a little more special? And I was rereading, unrelatedly, I was reading the original Dragon Ball. And I was reading it, and I was like, it's interesting. Dragon Ball plays with, a weird, like, fantasy sci-fi mixture, where you have like dinosaurs next to robots, next to people with magic powers, witches, all this crazy stuff, like, just seamlessly next to each other. And that's kind of what, like, heavy metal does too. Like, these weird intersections of genres come, and a lot of times you just don't question it. It's like you've got like a Conan the Barbarian kind of character walking, or even Samurai Jack is another excellent, where it's this samurai going, and he slices people up, but they're robots, and it's stuff like that. So I was like, well, hold on. So it just came together, and I was like, what if it was, the way it was special is, it's not just a fantasy story, it's a kung fu fantasy story. So that's how it evolved from there. So that was the catalyst that basically started a chain reaction of brainstorming, and then I came up with this whole big story. The whole time talking to Max about it. I was like, hey, I have this, I know we talked about working on it further if it came up. And so here's what I'm thinking. And he was like, sounds great. He was like, I'm a fan of Dragon Ball as well. It's been a bit, but I was a big fan of Dragon Ball Z. And so we talked about that. We went over like what we thought about the project with different, and it grew even further and further. So yeah, what started is actually it's funny because the other two books were created to be self-contained but lead into more stuff, and Tyrant Fall, the original short, less so, and it just evolved so much.
Now I feel like I better understand why you're talking about the, fans of Dragon Ball Z, heavy metal. Like that's straight where you pulled your inspiration from.
Yeah, it was yeah.
It's what got you to really think about creating the bigger world.
Mm-hmm.
Did having that kind of that lore building, world building piece already in place help then when the idea just kind of sparked that you're just like, all right, I already know this about the world. I can take the story this way.
Yeah, it was. It definitely helped. It was a good foundation that I had built for myself. There were a lot of details that I was like, well, I had done a lot of deep dives into parts of the lore for the short. But when it came time to expand it, it was like, well, we're the short's focused on just one dragon, and it's the red dragon. And I was like, and that's where I also tapped into some D&D,
Yeah.
inspiration, where I'm like, well, there's multiple kinds of dragons, different colors, the chromatics, the metallic, all that nerdy stuff that I love.
Yeah.
And that helped. I had already laid the foundation for just one dragon, and it was just like, well, this is not just this area; it's everywhere. It's the whole world. The first world building chunk was, if it was like I had set myself up for success and for expansion, just like I had with Trenchstalker and Echoes, but in a completely different part of the creative process.
Yeah. Now, if you have a blue dragon at a blue mountain, my D&D group would probably buy every issue of this. One of them's in here right now, Phil.
Well, hello then.
We had a this blue mountain that we went to, and we were all like, "There's gonna be a blue dragon there. There's gonna be a blue dragon there," and there was a blue dragon there, but he was friendly, surprisingly.
Oh. Well, unfortunately, the dragons in this one aren't quite so friendly. There is a blue dragon, but she is not quite friendly. If you've seen the original short, you'll know just how nasty these dragons can be.
Yeah. And we'll come back to the short, because I know you have that on the Kickstarter page, so we can show a little bit of that. But before we get more into that, let's talk about how you got into creating comics. I think when I met you at Baltimore Comic-Con, you also had a novel that you done as well.
Yeah.
Did you start thinking I want to write novels, or I want to write comics, or I just want to write? Where did it all, the love of all this, come from?
It was very much a I just want to write kind of thing. The novel came first. It was a little more natural. I had written a comic before. It was extremely not good. Like, looking back on it, I found the script. I was like, this is bad. Never mind the fact that it was like a Yu-Gi-Oh fan fiction. And I was like, no. I was like, it was good practice. It was a good first try,
Yeah.
Playing with just the imagery and just the format of a script. But no, the book came first because I was commuting via bus for work, so I had a lot of sitting time. So I was just and I would try to crank out like 1,000 words each way. So going in, it was like a 30-minute car drive, but on a bus with multiple stops and everything, it turns into like hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
So 2 hours to write 1,000 words one way, and then 2,000 words on the return trip. So, so that was how the book came to be. I'd done some writing a good deal of writing in college, but this was my first like real attempt at a novel. So I gave that my all and my focus, and then once it was done and things were more or less settled with it, I was like, okay, I want to do a comic now because I, try that, do that again. I've wanted to. I was really into comics. It's fun. I've been, a fan of DC and Marvel for a long time as a kid, but I never really got into comics until um, it's unfair to myself to say until college. I dabbled prior. Like I used to make it a tradition whenever I went out to a movie, like a midnight premiere with my friends in high school. I would go to like the Barnes and Noble right next door to the theater, pick up a graphic novel, and then read it as we waited for the midnight premiere to start. So I picked up graphic novels here and there. Very infrequent, but I loved it all. I read the Marvel and the DC encyclopedias, like Bibles essentially, which is probably where my love for B and C list characters come from, is because it's just chock full of them, and you're like, well, why isn't this guy in more comics? He's ridiculous. He's wasted in just this book.
Right.
But then college was really where I became an avid reader, collector, buyer, frequenter at a comic book shop down the road from my college. I was going in there, every week, and it was really the New 52 and the Marvel Now stuff that really helped get me in, because it was a good starting spot. So yeah, that was where I really started getting into it. But I've been a comic book character fan at the least for a long time.
Yeah, I feel like probably pretty similar actually with when I started collecting was later, but I was into all of that stuff growing up. Like it was always a part of it, but I don't think even then I knew I could go and get the comics and and read through things, and
right
till later, and then I was like, I don't feel like doing that. I was always a big reader though.
I remember one of the first times I went and got like single issues. Well, that's not even fair. I remember the first time I got a single issue, I was at Barnes and Noble, and I picked up an issue of Jeff Johns' Teen Titans because it had Kid Devil on the cover, and I was like, Kid Devil! I love Kid Devil. He's such a weird, just nobody character like, that has a paragraph worth entry in the encyclopedia. Picked it up, and I was like, this is great. I love this. And but then the next real like single issue was a Rick Remender little miniseries he did as part of his Venom run, The Circle of Four, which it featured not just Venom, but X-23, Ghost Rider, and Red Hulk.
Yeah,
and it was really interesting. It is like, I don't want to say peak, but it is like stereotypical Rick Remender Marvel stuff, where it's just crazy action, just crazy bad guys. I was like, this is awesome. And after that, I knew of that comic book shop. So later when I needed one, and I was no longer, not at college anymore or at home, I knew exactly where to go to get more books.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's always finding that one thing that just kind of like, yep, this is, you got me, you got me hooked. It's always a good feeling. So then this was your first comic series that you did, right?
Yes. Mental Cases. Yeah. It was very much just like I did the book. I'm going to do a comic now. And I just thought about it's like, what kind of things do I like? What kind of things do I want to write about? And so it's like, Sherlock Holmes, X-Files. So
I love this cover.
Oh yeah. Really. Diego did such a good job with the art and the covers. I've been very fortunate to work with some really good talent. So
you do have some really good artists. And so this was kind of your take on A Study in Pink, right?
Study in Scarlet. Study in Pink is the Sherlock version.
Yes, sorry.
The
Yeah,
BBC TV
there's
show.
been
Yeah,
so many versions of the story that now I just make them all
they
one.
all blend together. It's a
Yeah.
study
Study
in
in
blank.
Scarlet
And
became a study in pink, and now a study in static.
yeah, so yeah, it was very much on purpose, the title, because um
I feel like you
because
know this person.
uh yeah, I don't recognize the logo. It might be my wife or my cousin because they have the same first name. So but hello to either of you. Thanks for watching.
The Night Squad has shown up.
Oh, there's my sibling. Hello, Ollie. Oh god, yeah, there, I was afraid of posting this on Facebook because I knew exactly who would show up, but I was like, you know what?
No,
They'll get a kick out of it, and I don't mind.
they're here to support.
Yeah, yeah. You love the love. But so we're talking a study in stat. Yeah, it was very much on purpose because that's the first. I believe that might be. Am I mistaken? That is the first Sherlock Holmes story, where he first meets Dr. Watson.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very much like, oh, it's perfect, and it came together. Just the main title, the subtitle, just all came together, and I cranked out before contacting an artist. I had cranked out 4 issues worth of material. Wow. So then I was like, well, I guess I need someone to draw this now.
Right.
It was very much a like, now what? Oh yeah, so they got to draw it now. Okay, cool.
I guess we have to fully create this.
And so trying to remember, Diego I found on Reddit, and yeah, I liked his stuff, and I was going for a very Warren Ellis kind of vibe.
Okay.
Something that was very like sleek, modern. What is the word I'm looking for? Very. Oh my god! Oh my god! I am blanking on what the word that I originally described it.
Okay.
Something very just like modern-esque. Something that could translate well into like television. Not too cartoony, I guess is the way to say it.
More lifelike, realistic.
Yeah, more lifelike. So, and he really crushed it. And yeah, he was a machine. He was pumping out pages. I asked him if to do not only just the lines and inks, but the colors and letters, and he was just moving through pages so fast. I was like, even like for my first time working with another artist, I was like, this is not normal how fast he like works. And but it was all good stuff. And no, so it was a real treat working with him. And I eventually will get back to more mental cases stuff. That's on the list as well, but it's a long list.
Yeah, I know you said you're working on some of the other ones that you've got partial, those little intro kind of things. I love Sebastian's art, so I'm rooting for this one to come back.
I think I told you this when we met in Baltimore, but Sebastian was such a lucky. I don't want to say get because it sounds very possessive. It was luck that I was able to get him when I did.
Yeah.
Because it felt like the next day after we were done, he was moving on to bigger, brighter things. More work else places. All the indie places, Volt, and heavy metal. And I was like, oh god, oh boy, I almost oh good, I got him while he was cheap. Now he's now he's gonna definitely be paid what he's worth.
If I remember correctly, that's what actually brought me to your table. As I saw this cover, I was like, what is this? I feel like I recognize this art, and I was reading Black Beacon.
Right, Black Beacon. Oh my god, yes.
One. And now I'm reading We Ride Titans, which
oh my god, it's
phenomenal.
It's always fun seeing the people you work with, and the people that are working like around you on your level, moving up, getting bigger books and stuff, and you're just like, yes, you guys are doing great. I love this. I will buy and support every one of these issues.
Right. Before we come back, we'll come over to the Kickstarter here in a second. But we got a break from comic questions. We got a food question from the chat. If you had to remove one or the other from your life, which would it be? Tacos or pizza?
Unfortunately, it is not that much of a brain buster. I will keep pizza. Tacos. Bye-bye. Goodbye, tacos. I won't miss you, unfortunately. I'm not a big taco guy. But pizza is life, you know.
For me, that would be a hard one to answer. But he didn't address it to me, so I'm not going to answer.
Yeah. Well, then I'll address it. Tacos or pizza? Which one do you get rid of?
I really don't know. I think I'm going pizza because I can always do burritos or burrito bowls or I got my way around it.
And if you curl up a pizza, right, it could become a pizza taco. So
there we go.
Just break it, beating the system.
That didn't just break your question, Jay.
Sorry, we're cheating. I'm sorry about that.
So let's come over to the Kickstarter here. I got
let's.
I'll change the background here for this. So there we go. So we're sitting. Congrats, we're almost halfway and less than halfway through the campaign, which is awesome. I think you said goal by end of the week to hit that 100. I think by Friday you're aiming for 100 backers. So
100 backers, at least the halfway point. That would be great. It would make me so happy. It would help me sleep at night.
So everyone, I dropped the link in the chat if you're watching live, or if you're on the watching later on the replay, it's down in the description below. Take you over to the Kickstarter page and get you over to back it. Help him sleep at night. We don't want sleepless writers out there. It's no good. But so I really like the description you have here. We talked about the Dragon Ball Z Heavy Metal magazine, Dungeons and Dragons influence, but the kung fu action adventure, kick-ass fight scenes in a world of war-driven technologies and ancient magics. So you talk about these dragons, but what do you mean by dragons in this case? Are we talking our regular D&D dragons? Are we talking something else? I know the answer to this, but
so dragons in this sense, it's more of a title than anything. It actually become more or less their name. Like they don't have another name. They are like the red dragon, the green dragon, the blue dragon, and then if we ever get there down the line, there are the metallic dragons. So we have gold and silver just waiting, but that is a good bit down. Me and Max were originally talking. I had so many ideas, and we were just talking, and basically we got to this multi issue epic, and it was that'll be great. No one is going to pick us up if we try to pitch them a 20-30 issue series right off the back as our premiere. So let's just focus on the first 5, and then let's just focus on the first one, the first issue. Then we'll get to the a 5-issue arc, and then we'll see how far we can go from there. So we have plans. We're hoping to get there someday, but for right now, all focus is on this first issue.
I feel like that's so awesome to have, all those ideas ready to go, that depending on what happens, you're like, I'm ready. I got the next thing in my head ready to go with this world. But I mean, this is our red dragon here, right?
Yes, that is the red dragon, the main antagonist of the first issue.
And everyone that's curious and wants to, get a little taste of the story, the whole 8-page mini story is here.
Mm-hmm.
Max's art is fantastic.
Max is like it. I was talking earlier about having been lucky to work with Sebastian and Diego and JP on Trench Stalker, but working with I've been lucky to work with like basically everyone that I've gotten to work with. Max, Roman, and Rob are just killers. I don't want to leave out Francesca Fantini, who's currently on stake at Scout Comics. We did a 4-page mini comic that you won't really find anywhere, but we did it, and it was fun. She was wonderful to work with, and but we'll focus on Tyrant Fall. But I just wanted to
her art is fantastic, though.
Yeah, her stuff's good. Just wanted to make sure I not acknowledge her because would love to work with her again someday. But for Tyrant Fall, I mean, I was just so lucky. Max, I'd been wanting to work with for a while. Just looking at his Twitter page all the time, and it's just being like, man, this stuff is so good. And I was like, and then when this competition was like announced, I was like, this is the perfect time. Reached out, I was like, hey, I'm a writer. Give him the whole spiel about who I was, and I was like, would you like to work together? And I was so fortunate that he was like, I'm between projects right now, so I do have some free time. So that was great. Rob, I had worked on him actually the first time I worked with him was on that short with Francesca. And so I reached out to him, and Rob is so great. He just seems to be someone who has so much fun working on comics in general that basically I talked to him. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing another project. Would you like to and basically, I don't know how it's possible when you're texting or direct messaging someone on Twitter, but he interrupted me. He was like, I would love to work on it. It would be great. He's just always down to work on fun projects, and I'm glad he thinks Tyrant Fall is fun. I know I do. And Roman was so good. I put out an open call on Twitter for colorists. A bunch of people responded. I was going through portfolios, and Roman's I got to, and I was like, so good. This is it. This is exactly like the heavy metal like art style coloring that I want. And so he really, really nailed it.
I think just looking through this, looking like panel to panel, page to page, pulling in this is incredibly different than the other stuff. The two of them changing up the style so much here just shows the range that they have.
They're so powerful. It's incredible. I always talk about Max like he's the best kept secret. He's one of the better kept secrets in comic book art, because it's like I'm glad he enjoys working on Tyrant Fall, that he's made it part of his creative life, because anyone smarter than me would come and pick him up and put him on a zillion projects elsewhere, because he's that good. And Roman, you scrolled down earlier looking at his credits.
He's on some DC things.
He's on some DC stuff. I'm so happy that people are recognizing. And but even before Tyrant Fall, Tyrant Fall probably had nothing to do with his success, because he's just been a machine. He is so good. They're all machines because they're so efficient and good at their jobs. And it's a miracle that I get to work with them, because I feel like I'm just some schlub that was just like, please, sirs, could you work with me? And they were just like merciful enough to do so. Go ahead.
I feel like the moral of this story is that if you reach out to an artist and ask to be a part of a project, they're next level is what I'm hearing. They might not know it yet, but they are.
I won't take credit for their success. I'm just happy that every time, it's just a happy happenstance that I work with them, and then it's like, oh yeah, they're going to be working on a Batman project, and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I worked with someone who's on a Batman project, or, working at IDW, and if Rob, who works on like 1,000 projects at 1,000 different publishers, and then finds time to do his own Kickstarter projects and whatnot. So
Yeah.
the moral of the story is, I am just happy to be making comics with very talented and just overall friendly guys. They are all just wonderful to work with, professional, not even just in their efficiency and their punctuality, but they know what they're doing. They know the questions to ask of me, and they know how to answer my questions. So you're very fortunate to be working with all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second I was looking through the pages, I was like, yep, I'm in. Mm-hmm. And I think, again, this was one of those, like, the story itself I was like really into, but like I said, the range on the art team that you got here, I think this captures that so well. And then even going back to, well, it was down below there, but also this panel here, I think just mm-hmm. that action, capturing that action and getting the proper sound effects in there and the lettering on that is really cool.
Yeah, that's a good example of just how good all three of them are, because Max's lines, but the sound effect, that was Rob put that in after the fact, so that wasn't something that Max had drawn out. That was right. Rob came in, was like, boom, here's how the lettering works, and I could rant and rave about the creative team forever.
Yeah, so let's we'll move on to talking about what people can get, how much they pledge to get those things. So our rewards here. You want me to do this or scroll here?
Yeah, let's go down to the chart, the table.
Yeah.
So so the most basic tier is our hatchling. I tried to make them all dragon themed.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah. That was a fun brainstorming session, just writing out all the dragon words I knew. But your most basic tier comes with the digital copy, the hatchling, that's the hatchling level. You move up to Cobalt, and that's the digital deluxe, and that's going to come with a bunch of back matter. We're going to have process pages, script, character concept, all kinds of stuff like that. Moving up to the next level is the physical copy, actual paper that you can hold and flip through. And then if you want both, you go up one more tier to Wyvern. You get the regular digital, regular physical copy. Then Young Dragon gets you digital deluxe and physical. And then Elder Dragon, which is, I would say, it's like the basic tier is the one that if you want a good taste of everything, that's the one to go for. That's digital deluxe, a signed physical copy, and the art print that's going to be done by Kyler Clodfelter, who, again, talk about another talent I wanted to work with, and I'm so fortunate to be working with. We're going to be releasing that within a week. I won't say within the week. A week from now, we should have something to show for that. But it's going to be epic. The stuff he does crushes. He's a big DBZ Dungeons and Dragons nerd too, so it's just keeping it in within the nerddoms.
Yeah.
And then the next level up gets you, in addition to those things, gets you a thank you. We're gonna have a special thank you page at the end of the book, so just thank everyone that supported the comic at this level and up. We do have a retailer bundle. So retailers, if they're interested, can pledge at that level and get a nice little bundle of signed comics. And then we have our Dragon's Court guest appearance one. Now this one was limited to four backers, and they were gone within the first hour. And in addition to all the stuff you get above, you get to appear in a couple pages of the comic as some of the characters. and they get the snot beaten out of them. So
meet an untimely end.
an untimely end, yeah. And I just want to just depending on which Aaron Knight was watching, it might be my wife. So if my feed cuts off, you'll know why in a second. It's because she helped me with all of these graphics, and she's an artist by trade, and so we worked together. I came up with the concepts. I'm not an artist in any sense of the word, besides I guess writing. But since I here are the things I want to show, like to represent the different rewards, and she did a really good job. I'm really fortunate to have her help.
I think Aaron Knight became Alex Knight.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah. Thanks, Alex. I know that. Let's see. But yeah, so in addition to these tiers, those were the original launching tiers. We added 2 tiers this past weekend. The Dragon Slayer tier, which adds 2 more art prints, both by Max. One is the cover art, and another is a character print. We have 3 character prints, and we'll at that tier we'll be giving them out randomly. If you like, which one you get is random. If you want the other 2, you can actually go to the add-ons and basically request the other 2. We even have those special notes like, hey, if you're at a tier that gives the random print and you order 2, you're insured to get basically all 3. You're not going to get a duplicate. And the other new tier is the Dragon Soul tier, and that's the big Mamma Jamma. Comes with the digital deluxe, the signed physical, the 3 art prints, the thank you, and you get a page of original art. So the original art that Max has has penciled in ink, you'll get one of those pages.
That's an awesome reward to be able to throw into this. I think that's always worth having. That kind of artwork's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's Max. It'll be worth so much money someday in the future. After when he's as huge as he should be.
Yeah, 3 people have already hopped on it. 7. I have 10 remaining. So, I like that kind of thing as a reward. I like the, guest appearance kind of thing popping in there. I've been going overboard on Kickstarters recently, so
oh my gosh,
I'm like I gotta watch that. I'm like, oh man, original art. Let me hit that button on it, and I'm like, no, there's like 10 other campaigns probably ending at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do it.
Each Kickstarter you back, you're like, well, I guess that's a ramen meal right there. I guess I'm eating ramen that day, this day.
Yeah, but I love being able to read these stories that creators like you put out there that otherwise, aren't getting out there yet, or haven't been found by the companies to put them out in the bigger market. But I love that we get to sit and talk about these stories and dive into new worlds that everyone's creating all the time in Kickstarter, and that platform's available for people to do that.
Yeah, there's so scrolling through all the Kickstarters and stuff, all the Kickstarter campaigns for just comics alone. It's amazing just seeing how much is out there, how many people are doing things, how many the different styles too. It's insane.
These are current backings that are currently going on, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
let's chill there for a second. And then I've got like 20 tabs open of like, oh, let me check out this project.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the email. I think I was looking at my email when yours launched because I had saved the page. I was like, clicked it, 0 backers. I was like, I'm gonna be the first one. So I went and I saw like early bid. I was early pledge. I was like, yep, that's me. I'll do it. I'm in. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for that. It was
Yes.
yes, please. It'd be great.
Yeah,
I
I
assure
know.
you, it would be amazing. It's a pipe dream right now to one day have all of those, the whole story out. But just gotta work at one issue at a time right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen lots of comics just keep on telling their story on Kickstarter for as long as they want to do it. As long as as you build up your audience each issue, I think that really keeps the story just going, going, going.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta keep Max with you. Don't let him get too far, right?
Yeah. Oh
But,
God, hold on to him with both hands. Be like, no, please
yeah,
don't leave me. I need you.
like go on and do great things, but also always have time open to
Right.
draw Tyrant Fall.
But
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's nice because originally, like I mentioned earlier, our original conversation between me and Max about it was very much the original short was was very much a work for hire scenario. But then it was as we were going through, it was definitely I was winning him over like more and more,
Yeah,
and then now he is he's
yeah,
officially a co-creator of the book now because that's how much he's
nice.
invested into it, how much time and excitement and how much of a vision he has for this, as much as I do. So
Yeah.
it's so
I,
hopefully nothing
with
pulls him away.
Yeah, with that process when you guys were creating even the first 8 pages, was there anything in that process where he's like, what if we like do this way instead, or was it
Um,
more in that part? Was it more still like kind of the artist for hire piece, and now in this expanded part, he's like, what if this happened, and you guys have
um,
a little more back and forth on it?
yeah. So even during the work for hire part of it, those
Yeah,
original 8 pages, um, I went when I approached him. Yeah, it was very work for hire, but I was like, if please, you are the artist. If you have ideas, like you're making this with me, we're collaborating. If you have any ideas or suggestions or anything, uh, things look different from script to the art. So like, I love your input. And so there were some thoughts he had, that he gave at that part. I actually did a lot of the like I did a lot of layouts myself. Well, I say layouts. I basically just kind of I drew a series of panels and be like, okay, page one, the panels are kind of laid out like this.
yeah,
So, but there's definitely now Max is very much like okay, so he's like, I have your ideas, I have my ideas. We're talking. Let's talk about them. So
yeah.
we definitely, definitely the collaboration is a lot purer now than it was during the original short.
It's kind of evolved over the time that you guys have been
Mm-hmm.
working together, and now it's like you said, he's a co-creator now.
Yeah, he's the co-creator. He's my friend. We chatted. We talked about dorky stuff we did as kids. I was telling him like when I was a kid, me and my friends would basically pretend to be in Dragon Ball Z. We knew all the names of the attacks and everything. Um, yeah, it was a big part, and he was like, yeah, he agreed. It was the same, like kind of the same for him, where part of his friendships were built on Dragon Ball Z and stuff. So it was good time.
Perfect fit.
So I count him as a friend, and it's good. We have no problem just talking, even if it's like I know this. Like I have no problems with him if he comes to me and if he came to me and be like, hey, this idea you had, I think it's garbage. Let's talk about it. I'd be like, sure, you're my friend. Oh, he just told me I'm a sweetheart. It's true. It's true, Max. But no, so yeah, it's very much more. It's very open now. Very fortunate to have a collaborator that
Yeah,
is uh, that is as kind and as talented as Max is.
So I just dropped the Kickstarter link again in the chat for everyone watching live, wants to figure out how to get over there. And again, if you're watching later, links in the description. But yeah, let's try to get this Kickstarter to 100 backers by the end of the week. Get it over halfway funded. Keep the momentum going, because it's an awesome project, and it sounds like the team that you've got there is really cool and doing a lot of good things.
Yeah. Actually, if you wouldn't, I think if you go to updates, you might be able to see a new page that dropped. Oh yeah, so we have 2 new pages that dropped.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, we have this. We got this recently. The colors for from Roman, and I was blown away. I was like, how did he got better? I didn't think it was possible. He got better.
How long between the first 8 pages and this page?
Oh, hey, Joe. Joe's great. Joe, I want to take a quick time out to just talk about Joe. Joe has been so cool to talk to. I met him at Baltimore Comic-Con, actually the same one we met at. He was very cool to talk to. He's been just a great person for me to talk to about comics and stuff. We keep in touch all the time. Talking about like stuff we're working on. I'm appreciative of Joe, because he's also given me some good advice about the comic book career and whatnot. So
he's great. We've had him on here before.
That's
and
awesome.
We met him in person at Baltimore for the first time, but we met him virtually on here before.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, no, Joe's great. I've just been very fortunate to again worked with all kinds of wonderful and talked to all kinds of wonderful. That's another thing I've talked about. I mentioned it on another podcast or discussion before, but the comic creator community, it can be just so wholesome. There's a lot of love and support there, and there's like no animosity towards anyone for their success, which is great, because there's all kinds of industries where someone succeeds, and the people that were coming up with them, knives are out, they're just looking for a place to stab. Comic book community, nowhere near that. It's someone succeeds and everyone rushes to celebrate them or to back their Kickstarter. It's just so wholesome and supportive, and it's just a great group of people to be a part of.
What I love is like what you have, like the thank you page, and you look through the thank you pages on some of them, and you're like, yep, I know that creator, I know that creator, I know that creator. That it's like, okay, they're all in here back in this comic too. So it's like I recognize these names, so it's super cool to see that support from creator to creator, backing each other's projects, really putting the support out there. And where like you see there's multiple projects running, but creators are talking about each other's projects and like wants the support everywhere. And I think that's what's great about the great side of the comic community is all of that. Obviously, there's the dark side of the comic community that we don't talk about.
We're not going to talk about it. Yeah, that's over there. That's not what we're talking about.
There's some really great people out there in the community, that really show that support, like Joe, Travis Gibb, who was on the channel the other day for his Kickstarter, and so many other creators. David Byrne also that we've had on here too. You're just talking about Francesca earlier. That's his artist for sale.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so many creators that we've had on here that I love the support that I see from you guys to each other.
Yeah, it's great.
Matt and Noah also.
Matt and Noah.
You know them.
Yeah, I know them. They're awesome. It was great for them to seeing them. Oh no, it's my uncle.
I mean
Uh,
those are good things to know. You're always got the story in your head, even growing up. Maybe not this story, but a story, and you're always thinking about writing. It's cool
oh
to see
yeah.
those things.
Yeah. All right. So back to the page. So it was
Yeah.
actually it was a very long time, just because me and Max were working on pitching uh, to places,
Okay.
and so you know, like what's his face? The original short came out in I think 2020, and we had been working on pitching it and restructuring the pitch and all kinds of stuff just ever since then. And this page, I got this fairly recently. I think I got it. I think I posted it almost the same day I got it, actually, because I
Yeah.
was like, people have to see this. This is spectacular. And in our email chain, like, it's just me and Max gushing over the colors. We're like, Ruben, like, what? This is amazing. What are you doing? You've
You
outdone
went
yourself again.
from here to
Yeah.
here.
I didn't think it was possible, but somehow you found another rung on the ladder to climb up. Um, so I was
But
just like, I was blown away, and I was like, this is amazing.
yeah.
But the black and whites I had gotten, I think last month, during the pre-campaign, and we had got a bunch of them, but I was waiting to bundle them up to send in batches. So so yeah, these are fairly newly sent to Roman, and even newer, even more recently received from him.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
just like, look what I can do.
yeah, I know. He's like, indie books. I do Batman now. No, but he's a really cool dude. I said machine earlier. He's just so proficient at this, and his stuff that he's
Good.
done indie comics and DC wise, they're just like the start to what I can only imagine is going to be a great career.
It's always good to say, and like you said earlier, you like to see when someone levels up that you're working with, and
Yeah.
is going to those next levels, and now you're seeing it right with the work that
Oh,
they're doing with you.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm very, very fortunate that I get to see that evolution myself. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what? How? How? Why? And that's not. I mean, don't want to leave Rob out, because his part has yet to come. But
Yeah.
I'm just seeing the other projects he's working on just all the time, and he's killing it. I mean, yeah, the original short, it's if everyone's leveling up, I do not know how a letterer levels up, but Rob is going to show me.
Finding the even better
Yeah,
lettering font
he's
to
going
match
to make
the story.
he's going to make
Uh,
Val look so good.
get these sound effects looking even better. They're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
yelling off the pages.
All the
I
yelling.
don't know, but yeah, I mean, I feel like this is such good coloring here, and then like you said, you take it over to here, and you see the difference.
Yeah, it's a good level up. I mean, I'm just again we're getting to the point where I'm going to start ranting about how good the creative team is and how
I'm
good these
joining in
guys
because
are.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like
Oh
I
my
said
God.
before, I I look through the things that you've done, and I'm like, I love the art,
Mm-hmm.
and that catches your eyes. That's the thing that catches your eye before you even get to look at the story, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's a visual medium.
if the art is not good, it doesn't matter how great you write. I can't. I'm probably not going to enjoy what's happening. And you've managed to find great creators to work with and pull in for these projects.
Yeah, and it's like I mean, there's also, it's not just that the art is good, it's that it's done well in comic sequential
Yeah,
narration.
yeah,
It's because there's plenty of people like I see online that are like, "Oh, I want to get it." Reddit, Twitter, Deviant, or all those places. You see them and they're like, "Oh, they have good stuff." Like,
Yeah.
as covers, but they want to be sequential artists. They want to be, doing interiors. Yes, shout out Joe Beckstar. Yes. Oh my gosh. What was it? Oh, so you see them, they have these good pieces and they're like, "Oh, I want to do interiors," but they either don't have any like interior samples, or the ones they do, it's like very very stilted. It's like it is I know it's weird to say, but it's like they're just still pictures one after the other, and there's like not a lot of life to them.
I mean, like, this right here is a good example of the action occurring, and you see the flow from the top into that final panel, and it's not a typical, like, we're not seeing like here's a panel, here's a panel, here's a panel, here's a panel. It flows differently, which I always appreciate those things. I think what was it this week, West of Sundown had this full page spread, and it was like the Americas was in the middle, but it was like panels around that surrounding it and showing like the path of a ship, and like, so it was a map, but it was also panels of the story also happening. I was like, I love that. I love when you get something creative like that thrown in there. And even like I said here, even just, okay, we've got this one panel kind of floating here. I like something different thrown in.
Yeah, just a quick little shot, just of guy, getting his head bashed in.
Yeah. It's got to set the scene.
Yeah.
And I mean, it flows directly into her holding the weapon and the guy, down on the ground there. So like you said, the action is seen. It's not static. It's not just sitting.
Right. I mean, even like if you were to take away just that panel of the guy getting hit, there's a lot of power in action, and not action in the sense that something is moving, but like something is clearly happening in this panel. And there's some people that unfortunately just don't get that. Their art lacks it when they try to do interiors. But
like, we got the huddled group here, like they're cowering in fear. You can see. I mean, maybe she's a little less affected by what's going on, but like he's clearly like, oh no.
Yeah. That lady just got there.
Yeah, she's just like,
she just got here. She's like, what's going? Oh my god.
Oh, it's a Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Another head bashed in.
The red dragon's angry. Ooh.
Tell me that's what I feel like. There's got to be one of those people like, again.
Yeah.
Like, oh boy, one of those in the crowd of when the head bashing happens, especially with the tyrant, right?
Yeah. No.
Typical behavior that's kind of gonna happen, but a lot of characters or people in real life are gonna still be surprised by that happening right in front of them. Yeah, and again, you see the action.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but don't want to keep you too long tonight. We're about an hour here. I'm gonna drop the link one more time in the chat for anybody watching that hasn't gotten to go on over and back this comic. And what's up, Travel in Root Beer Danny? What are you doing? He's part of he's our DM.
Oh, nice.
So he was actually at Baltimore as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the dream one day might be to make like a module or something based in this world for tabletop RPGs. Maybe not just specifically Dungeons and Dragons, but just leave it open ended for any system to like use and exploit. But I think people would have a lot of fun playing in this world.
And a different take on, like you said, a different take on the red dragon, blue dragon, different dragons in here. I think that would be cool to. Yeah. You'd still be fighting a very powerful being, but not an actual dragon.
not your typical dragon. No, it's
right.
Just as fearsome, just not big and with wings.
And I know I feel like the best place people can follow you is over on Twitter. Is that right?
Yes, Twitter at Vanitas Knight.
Drop that.
That's the best place. I have a website that is perpetually under construction. It is readable, it is usable, but it is constantly in a state of I need to add this. There's a laundry list of things to do to the website. It's almost as long as the list of projects I want to work on.
So that is not ready for people.
People can go there. They just don't expect to be wowed. What the Dragon Court is, if it sounds spicy. Well, if you want to know, the Dragon Court is essentially you have the which you want to make. Okay, that'll be something. I have a friend that is big into making like custom campaigns and stuff. I might want to talk to him about maybe someday throwing something like that together. But the Dragon Court is what's his face? Oh yeah, exactly. So many projects at a little time. The Dragon Court is essentially the each dragon kind of has a series. It has a crowd of people that follow them. In this world, magic is essentially outlawed to basically anyone that the dragons don't approve of, which is actually the kind of the premise of the short, where this older man Kanu has been charged with not only being a rebel, but he's also been practicing magic illegally. And they find it unfair because the only people that can use magic are the people that can dictate, who uses magic. And so, they don't think the law is fair, so they rebel against it. But that court is essentially they're not as powerful as the dragon themselves, but they are skilled magic users. They're a mix of just layabout aristocrats and nobles, and some of them are actual parts of the bureaucracy that keeps the world moving in the backside, while the dragons just go about doing whatever the heck they want to do. They actually have people back, well, someone's got to make sure roads are paved. So that's kind of what the Dragon Court is. It's people that get stuff done and people that just don't do anything but are powerful enough that they can get away with it.
There we go.
Yeah.
Kind of spicy?
Kind of spicy, yeah. Definitely spicy. Definitely some of them are going to, in future issues, some of them will definitely cause some issues. So
very nice. So yeah, everyone watching live, watching on the replay, go check out the campaign. I think I saw it was up to 92.
Snap! That's awesome. Thank you, everybody.
I think that was Circumstances and Joe that did that. So thanks, guys, for
thank you guys
showing some love to the campaign and checking it out. Yeah, if you're watching later, links in the description. Go over to the campaign and back it. I know there's a lot of things competing for your attention right now in the Kickstarter world, but I think this is one definitely worth putting on your list. It's trying to refresh to see if anything else happens.
You guys have crashed it.
We crashed.
Thank you.
Oh,
you crashed the Kickstarter.
And it loads in the middle of the page, but I was at the top.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. So we're
closing thoughts or
I just thank you to everyone that's supported the Kickstarter so far. I greatly appreciate it. This is my first time running a Kickstarter, and it's been a very exciting and stressful period of time. My wife is not happy at me for how stressed I have been. Part of it is this Kickstarter. Part of me is me worrying about the Kickstarter and obsessing over it. But thank you. I greatly appreciate this. Wouldn't happen if it wasn't for you. It will happen because of you. But also not speaking for me, it'd be great if you apply this to me, but if you have a creator, an indie creator that you love, make sure to follow them wherever they are. Tweet, like, retweet, share everything that they post, that they do. That outreach helps them immensely. It shows, and man, it is a serotonin hit when you see someone that you don't know, like as a creator, someone that you've not interacted with before, but they come out and they show you that love. They help you spread your message. They just like the message, the thing you're laying out, and it makes them feel better. It helps other people see it, and it doesn't cost anything. So you can just do it forever and always, and it will make your creator keep creating. And that's all we want to do, and that's all you want us to do. So, help us help you, kind of thing.
Yeah. If you like the story but can't afford to pledge, retweet, share this video, this interview.
Yeah, this video, yeah.
Can see, see Brennan talk about the book more. But yeah, retweeting always gets the message out there a little bit further. Posting on Instagram. I feel like I've found you on Instagram, but you're kind of not on Instagram.
Oh boy. It's funny. I'm only on Instagram because another artist I wanted to work with, his Twitter was, he had DM set so that you can only DM if you're both following each other.
Yeah.
So I went to Instagram to find him and be like, hey, can you follow me so I can talk to you?
Right.
Talk here. I just want to talk to you about working together.
Yeah.
But it's been a fun place also just to follow along with the stuff Max posts, that Roman posts. Rob also. There's all kinds of people on there. But yeah, I'm very inactive.
There's one post about Tyrant Fall.
I posted once about Tyrant Fall. But otherwise, I'm just there to just be a bystander. And to communicate with people. But yeah, no. So yes, so not don't have to do it for me. I would love it, but just support
in general
the creators you love.
Absolutely. It's kind of right along what I always say here is collect what you love.
Collect what you love, support.
Collect what you love, support the creators you love, support the content that you love with different books that are out there. So thanks everyone who's been watching live. Thanks to Brennan's family that's been watching.
Yeah.
Sure, they're gonna talk to them later about it. Oh.
Yeah.
See them this weekend.
I'll see them this weekend. Yep.
There we go. Help him sleep a little bit better at night. Get the campaign to 100 subscribers. Maybe hit that 4K mark. That would be awesome. If you can, of course, obviously, I know money's hard sometimes. So if you can support, show some love, like you said, to the creators that you like out there. And with that said, thanks everyone watching. Thanks everyone catching this later on the rewind, and have a nice night.
Good night.
Here's my clip.